In this video, I've kind of like not numbered things down, but I've put titles in. Okay, what the is happening with me? Okay. Oh no. Okay. See, I don't remember what I was saying. I feel so frazzled right now. I don't know why. And one thing I forgot to mention, on infusion days, you best remember to shave your arms because they're gonna put all this tape around you after poking you with that needle. And when they take that tape off of you, it's literally like a wax job. It's like, it's so painful. And guys, I only have like fine hairs on my arms, but every time it's ripped off of me, all I can ever think about is the males who get infusions, because all I'm thinking is, oh my god, they probably have so many hairs on their arms. It probably hurts like a So do you guys shave your arms too? Hey guys. So in this video, I wanted to be talking about multiple sclerosis and Ocrevus because I've actually been on Ocrevus for like the past 3 years now, and I thought I would just talk about my experiences with it. And for those of you who are also taking Ocrevus, let me know in the comments below if you guys can relate to some of the things that I talk about, or if you experienced something else that maybe I hadn't mentioned. I would still love to hear from you guys. Oh, and I forgot to mention, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It'd be cool if you could subscribe, and yeah, so for now I hope you guys enjoy this video. So Ocrevus got approved by the FDA on March 28th of 2017, and that actually happened to be 2 months prior to my multiple sclerosis diagnosis. So when I actually went to go see my doctor in 2017, I feel like the first drug just came to mind for him was Ocrevus, because I still remember when he told me how it would be very promising if I were to take it. I still remember when my nurse asked me the very first time when I went in for my infusion, she literally looked so concerned. She was like, "Where are your parents?" And I'm like, "Why do I need my parents?" But little did I realize that at that time I was 19 years old, so of course she was going to say that. But for me, guys, I always had this thing where in 2017 especially, I didn't want people to be there for me because it genuinely made me feel like I was broken. And I didn't like how it felt. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't know that a lot of people were out there who also had MS that I could talk to. And yeah. But basically on infusion days, I basically have to stay at the hospital for 6 hours. Receiving the infusion, right? And I'm pretty sure for those of you who are also taking Ocrevus, you guys also did the same. I don't know if you guys actually go to the hospital to get your infusion though. I'm assuming you do, but let me know in the comments below because I'm actually curious to know where you go to get your infusion. Because I'm just assuming that I have to go to the hospital to get my infusions because Ocrevus is a clinical trial, but like, I don't know, I really don't. All I really have to do is go to the hospital like twice a year, and it's like, it's not bad. I much rather prefer this than actually getting infusions every month, because that would be so annoying for me to have to go in, make the time every single month to get my infusion. So I'm actually glad that Ocrevus is only twice a year. So basically on infusion days, I have to stay at the hospital for 6 hours. It does seem like a very long time, but when I'm actually at the hospital, the 6 hours goes by really quickly, especially because I'm always doing schoolwork while at the hospital. Which is so annoying for me because when I'm at the hospital, I just want to sleep, but at the same time, the beds aren't ever comfortable, so I never close my eyes, and I don't know who's actually going to be walking in because I don't know. And it's actually pretty funny because I will hear all of these MS patients literally walk into the office, and I swear to you, all of them sound older, much older than me. All of them sound like they're maybe in their 40s. But like, I just, oh my god, I feel embarrassed because I'm like freaking like half their age, and it's like, my nurse basically gives me like this sheet of paper to look at in the span of 15 seconds. And on this sheet of paper, there's 6 images. So there's like 2, 2, and 2. And it's not like a triangle, a square, a circle, a rectangle, but it's like, there's like different things going on in each image. And basically, my nurse asks me to look at this image for like 15 seconds. And basically, she takes away the paper, and she gives me a blank paper and tells me to draw down what I remember and the exact location that they were in. And guys, I'm not even joking when I say this, the only thing I can ever remember is a circle inside of the rectangle. But every time I give it back to my nurse, she's always like looking at me like, is that all you remember? And like I end up feeling so bad because I'm like, how do I not remember this? But this is all I remember, and I know it's not my fault, but it's like I shouldn't feel bad for this, but I only gave her back one shape that I remember seeing. And yeah, I feel like I disappoint her, but at the same time, it's not my fault. Like, that's all I remember, and that's all I'm gonna draw. So yeah. For those of you taking Ocrevus, can you relate to this too? Because I can never remember all 6 shapes. I can only remember one. But yeah. The other test she gives me is a math test, which I'm actually really good at. I always ace that because I always remember how to do it. But the only part that I never remember is when I have to answer addition questions that are 9s. So when it's like, when the recording says, what's 9 plus 6 or whatever, I'm just like, fuck, is it 16 or is it 15? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 15, right? But like, you don't have that time to be counting with your fingers to add the stupid question before it moves on to the next one. I don't like that whole time constraint thing, because for me, I need to take my time to answer questions because my brain doesn't process it as fast as other people, so it's difficult. But yeah, are you guys good at the math test too? I think I could beat you at it. And I also have a walking test. So this walking test is not walking 400 meters because let's be real, I'm going to be sitting down after 100. But yeah, this walking test is literally me walking in a straight line that's like 15 to 20 meters long. And my nurse basically times the time it takes me to do that. After all those tests are done, my nurse gives me my infusion. So basically she pokes me in my arm. And I hate this because I don't like needles, but I do it because I have to do it, and I just have to pretend to be strong. And I just have to do what I have to do what I have to do, right? So when she pokes me, there's a few spots that she's poked me so far. I think I've had about like 6 infusions so far. I honestly can't remember, but the very first time I got my infusion, that was my favorite spot that she actually poked me in. It's so weird that I'm even saying my favorite spot, but I'll tell you why. She poked me over here. This was very painful, I'm not gonna lie. For me, it was painful AF. But it was kind of rewarding in a way because I was able to type on my laptop without the stupid intravenous infusion thing beeping just because I was moving my arm. And it's like when I'm typing on my laptop, I'm not really moving so much of my arm like this. Whereas there's a few times when my nurse gave me my infusion over here and over here. And I don't like those spots specifically because when I'm on my laptop, I have to turn my arm around, right? And when I turn my arm around, the machine just starts freaking, I'm calling it a machine, it's not a machine, but it's like, I think you guys would know what I'm talking about. I'm just calling it a machine because it's like a machine to me. But yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention, on infusion days, you best remember to shave your arms because they're gonna put all this tape around you after poking you with that needle. And when they take that tape off of you, it's literally like a wax job. It's like, it's so painful. And guys, I only have like fine hairs on my arms, but every time it's ripped off of me, all I can ever think about is the males who get infusions, because all I'm thinking is, oh my god, they probably have so many hairs on their arms. It probably hurts like a b****. Do you guys shave your arms too? So while my nurse, after my nurse pokes me with the needle, the first thing she does is checks my blood pressure. And she actually has to check my blood pressure every half an hour. This is actually really embarrassing for me because I have really small arms. So for me, I still remember the very first time I went for my infusion, she wraps it around my arm and she turns around like so quickly, right? Like honestly guys, it was probably like for like 3 seconds she turned around. She turns back around and that wrap thing that she wrapped up here, it's literally down here because my arms are too tiny to stay up there. So after that experience, my nurse just knows now to hold it down my arm until it goes even tighter because it's gonna slide down. Someone called me out on having small arms and I was so embarrassed in one of my videos, but I was like, oh, whatever. And what I find so funny is my nurse always, at the end of my infusion, my nurse always ends up looking at me, smiling. And I'll just be like, what? And then she'll literally tell me, she'll be like, you're such a trooper. And I still remember that one time I was like, I don't get it. All I had to do was sit here while you did all the work. And she looks at me and she's like, no, but you're doing your schoolwork right now and you also didn't fall asleep. And it's like, that's actually very true, because every infusion I've had, I've always done schoolwork or I've read a book and I've just never fallen asleep. But it's also because my nurse has to check my blood pressure every half an hour, and I'm like a light sleeper. Like the littlest things wake me up. Heat is like one disgusting example of that. But yeah. So in 2017, I experienced difficulties with the following. So my walking, my vision, so the double vision, and then my vision just shaking all the time. The numbness and tingling, my bladder, slurred speech. The heat was horrible for me. The cold was actually really good, but the heat was horrible. I would just feel my body just collapse a lot of the time. Even to this day, like I don't do well in the heat. And I also experience itching. And itching is actually a side effect of Ocrevus. All those symptoms I've listed down, I still experience. Even taking Ocrevus for like the past 3 years now. One thing I honestly failed to realize was back in 2017 when I first received my infusion. This is what happens when you give like a freaking teenager an infusion. Like, how are they supposed to know anything? But it's like, I was 19 when I got my very first infusion, right? And I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen to me or anything like that. But I just had this misconception that Ocrevus was going to fix me. And that was just not, I just wish I didn't have that mentality, because I thought after my very first infusion, I'd be able to walk the way I used to, or I'd be able to run down the street. When I was told that I could get infusions, I honestly thought after my first infusion, I would be back to being normal again. But that was my stupidity in thinking that, because that wasn't going to happen, because I have yet to feel that way. I have yet to feel the norm. My norm is literally tripping on things that aren't even there, tripping on my own foot while walking, tripping on someone else's foot while walking. Like, how I even do that, guys, I don't even know. Just don't walk close to me, because I'm most likely going to trip on your foot. Ocrevus has been helping me from not relapsing as often as I probably would have if I had been taking any other DMT, I feel. In the sense where I've heard of like a few other MSers who take their DMTs and they end up relapsing at the same time. And that just goes to show that their DMT isn't working, right? But I didn't really come across that kind of experience yet. I mean, in September last year, my doctor actually thought I was having a relapse. I don't know, for me personally, I just felt like I was having a relapse every single day ever since 2017. That it was like, because I was being told that I was having a relapse, I didn't know that, right? And I think it was about a week later, I had an MRI, and my MRI did not show any new active lesions. It was just really frustrating, because he actually prescribed me these prednisone pills, which I actually never took. Like, he prescribed this to me on September 17th of 2019, and I never took them, because for me, guys, I didn't feel like I was relapsing, because I genuinely just felt like I was relapsing for like the past 3 years, that at that very moment, like September 17th, I didn't feel like I was even more unable to do something, you know what I mean? So when my doctor's like, yeah, take this prescription, I couldn't understand. And I told him, I'm like, I don't need prednisone right now. And he was like, how about you take it and then just take it if you need it. But I just still didn't understand it at that very moment as well, because I actually was not complaining to him about anything. Like, yes, I was unable to walk, whatever, but it was like, it was better than in 2017, like, you know what I mean? But it was just really annoying for me, because he assumed that I was having a relapse. I didn't feel like my whole world was falling apart again like it was in 2017, you know what I mean? So I kept this prescription, because just for his peace of mind, because he literally was like writing it down while he was telling me about it, and I was like, I'm not taking this. But yeah, I kept this, and I'm going to forever keep this, because don't let anyone tell you what you're capable of, or, I don't know, tell you that there's something wrong with you when there isn't, because, I don't know, not even doctors can, right? I always wondered how people knew to switch from DMT to DMT, But the only reason I didn't know that is because Ocrevus in a way is working, because I actually haven't been doing worse, but I haven't been getting better. It's just everything has just been staying the same. And I guess that's the point of these DMTs, right? Where it's like you have to take DMTs to not progressively get worse, because I don't feel like I'm getting worse at this very moment, but I don't feel like things are getting better, but I don't know if things can really get better. Things are just the same as of right now, so I guess that's a good thing, and I guess Ocrevus is working on that end. Better sleep and relapses. So I haven't really been relapsing since taking Ocrevus, but I've also been having really good sleep, and I guess ties in with fatigue and Ocrevus, and I do experience fatigue a lot, especially with MS, and then Ocrevus just gives me fatigue times 2, so it's like being fatigued near the end of the day is like the best feeling for me, but to feel fatigued during the day, it's kind of a shitty feeling when you're trying to get things done and then you just end up falling asleep. That's pretty much it to my video. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are also taking Ocrevus or maybe even another DMT. I would still love to hear from you. And yeah, so subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and check out my blog. I'll post links down below as always. And I will see you guys in my next video that I will post next week. I just didn't end up getting to do it last week because I got busy with Teachers College, but yeah. Bye guys. Guys, you know what I stupidly did? I think it was about a few days ago. I guess I itched my head over here, and then I started to lose hairs over there, so that's why you see all these flyaways, and now I just have to wait for them to grow back because I don't know why. Maybe I just need to cut my nails, but